As we will be learning a lot of functions, it makes sense to learn how to access documentation on these functions. Let's do that now. When you install MATLAB, documentation files are also copied. To open documentation in version 7 of MATLAB, locate the blue question mark icon on the toolbar and click on it. You can also click the Help tab on the menu bar and choose Product Help as being highlighted here. In version 8, you will find the Help button near the right end of the tool strip. When you click on that button, you will see a new window open up, and that is your Help browser. If you're on version 7, this is what your Help browser looks like. It looks quite different if you are on version 8, and this is how a version 8's Help browser looks like. Let's open them up in MATLAB and explore in detail. We'll first look at version 7 browser and then learn the enhancements made in the version 8. This is MATLAB version 7, and I'm going to click on the blue question mark icon on the toolbar to open up Help browser. You will find two panes in this Help browser, a left-hand side pane and the right-hand side pane. The pane on the right displays documentation on what you select on the left. The headings you will find here correspond to the toolboxes installed on your MATLAB, and each toolbox finds an entry here. If you just see MATLAB in this list, that possibly means you have only the basic MATLAB software. You can click on the arrow bullets to expand or collapse these headings. Under any toolbox listed here, you will typically find these things: Getting Started, User's Guide, Functions, Examples, Demos, and Release Notes. User's Guide is the complete documentation material. It's the full reference book. You can expand it to find the content organized topic-wise. You can select a topic of interest and start reading the content on the right-hand pane. While User's Guide is a complete documentation, Getting Started is a quick start guide. For MATLAB or any toolbox, it's usually a few dozen pages and gives you a bird's eye view of the product. Functions section is an index of all functions in MATLAB or the particular toolbox you're viewing. You may browse functions topic-wise or in alphabetical order. Let's see documentation on square root function we used earlier. Let me jump to S, scroll down for SQ. And here you see square root function. I click on that. This is the reference page of the square root function. At the very top, you see the name of the function and then a one line or one phrase description as to what the function does. Then you see a list of syntaxes in the syntax section. Square root function has only one syntax, but many of the functions we shall be learning will have multiple syntaxes. The section after that, which says description, gives you a description on how to use each of the syntaxes presented above in the syntax section. Following that, you see some examples and maybe tips in case of some functions, and then at the very end you see a section called See Also, which is a section of related functions. For example, I can see here and learn a new function called nth root, which I guess gives me nth root of a number. These are hyperlinks and I can click on them. So the nth root function is to compute the real nth root of a real number. And again, for nth root function, you see a similar layout with the function name, a one-line description, syntaxes, the description of each syntax, examples, and then a See Also section. The See Also section is a very good idea because it helps you stumble upon something that you might have been looking for. More importantly, it's a fun way of expanding your knowledge. Let me collapse the functions section here. The examples section shows you how to use various functions and features, while the demos section showcases solving some well-known problems using Matlab. Release notes features summary of changes made in this version from the previous one. It's a good idea to read these release notes of all newer versions when you are jumping from one version to another. You can also directly search for a function or a topic using the search box here. For example, we saw a function log which computes logarithm to the natural base. Let's say I'd like to find a function that computes logarithm to the base 10. I'll search for logarithm to base 10. As you can see, it's already suggesting me a few searches, and I select the first one, or I just hit the return key in the search box. When I search for something, Matlab searches its entire documentation for the keywords I have provided and then returns me a list of search hits arranged in the order of relevance. These hits can be from Matlab or from any other toolbox. For example, my first two search hits are not from Matlab but rather from Simulink domain. Then I have a search hit from Matlab and then one from Simulink and a couple from Matlab. A better idea when you have multiple search hits is to sort the hits in the order of product so that all hits from Matlab are grouped together, making it easier to sift through the results. So I have all my hits from Matlab in one place and all my hits from Simulink here. I can right click any of these and say collapse all. After collapsing, I can search for the function only in that particular product or products in which I am searching this function. Let's now explore the interface of the help browser in version 8. This is Matlab version 8, and I open help browser by clicking on the question mark icon here. It's only the interface that is new. Content layout is pretty much the same as it was in version 7. You see the list of toolboxes in the home page, and for me they are Matlab and Simulink. I click on Matlab and that shows me the content of user's guide. Getting started appears as a tab at the very top, and so is examples and release notes. You can click on getting started to see the quick start guide. I can go back by clicking on the Matlab tab here. The functions section appears at the very bottom as a tab. You can also download the PDF documentation by clicking on this link. To search for a topic, you click inside the search bar at the very top that says search documentation. For example, let me search for the square root function. And you can refine your searches by product or by category here. And this is the reference page on square root function. And as you can see, the layout looks pretty much the same. The name of the function, a one phrase description, the syntax, description on the syntaxes, the examples, and then we see a see also section.